So here's the Bourjassotte Noire. Now let's go and grab a Celeste. So Celeste is by far my most vigorous or healthiest tree that I've got. Most resistant to our climate, Sydney climate. 10 to 11, zone 10 to 11. So this one's ready to go. Alright, straight in the button, the tasting basket. The apples are pretty much ready to. Now it's Violette de Bordeaux's turn. So let's grab this little beauty here. Yep. Chopping block. Now let's go Socorro Black. As you can see, it's a decent size. It's medium. Definitely not a small fig. It's a good medium sized fig. Let me focus on it. Let me see, 1 second. Let me focus. Yep, spin it around the other way, upright. Yeah, I like the color of it. It's got like a blonde color, which is unique. And the Navelina oranges are really coming along. Now let's go Ton's favorite fig, the Calderona. So she's right here. They put on good size actually, the Calderonas. They're up there around the 70, 80 grams, decent size. Don't mix them up so we know what they are. So they're the Calderonas, that's the Bourjassotte Noire. Parfianca starting to put on some size. And now for the crowd pleaser, the good old reliable White Adriatic. As you can see, this thing is just absolutely loaded. I've been eating from it since probably late December. Now we're towards sort of late summer now, mid February, last stretch of summer, the official stretch of summer, and this thing is still absolutely cranking with figs. Have not stopped eating from this since late December, and it's just loaded. As you can see, I can walk right in the center and I can see clearly right around. There's just figs everywhere, ripe figs. That's as far as they get in terms of splitting. I've never seen them get worse than that. And you know, we've been having sort of severe storms in Sydney. We had a massive downpour yesterday of rain, and they're still holding up really well against the rain. As you can see, that's as bad as they get. So they barely open up their mouth or their the eye, so they actually hold very well against the weather. And the one that's going on a chopping block is this thing here, with all the brown spots on it. This is just telling me, put a fork in me, I'm done. There she is. All those brown spots are an indication of sugar concentration. That's what it means. So let's put him there. Okay, and now last but not least, for the first time ever, I'm gonna be trying a Vasilika Sika from my 5-year-old tree. You know, this thing's been struggling for 5 years, poor thing. I've just left it alone, didn't do anything about it. I planted it in an area of my yard where it's not ideal. It's a very dry area of the yard. Doesn't get much water. So it's just barely, it was on survival mode for the last 5 years. It looks like this year it's starting to move along. As you can see, she's a bit battered from the weather and the storms and the humid conditions. But she's coming through, I've noticed a couple of ripe figs for the first time. I'm excited to try them. I think this one here looks decent. You know, they're hanging out with my wonderful pomegranates right there. Let me see how she looks like. Interesting shape, huh? See the back of it towards the stem, it's a bit pear-like. Yeah, it's unique to The only one that Black Madeira tends to have a very thick stem towards the base where it hangs from the tree. And not many others. Socorro Black has a, it's a sort of smaller degree, and this thing seems to have it as well, where it's very thick. Oh, doesn't want to come off. This is very thick. I pulled the yeah, sorry, I'm working one hand here. It seems to be very thick towards the base of it, very thick, which is interesting. There's an, okay, let's put this in there first. Put it right on top. There's another one here. I might leave it for one more day to see how she goes. But I think I've mentioned before the wonderful man whom I sourced this from, a fellow collector. He probably had 100 plus figs, collectible figs. He claimed that this Vasilika Sika is hands down his best tasting green fig. So let's see how true that is. Okay, off we go. Let's go to the chopping block. You can see the pomelos are put on some good size. They actually enjoyed the rain. We only had a couple of days of rain, but they really soaked it in well. They're putting on some good size, you know. I'm gonna call him Wilson soon. Put some eyes on him. You know, a bit of a face, draw a bit of a face on him. Call him Wilson. Just like what's his name from Castaway, Tom Hanks. All right, let's go to the chopping block and start chopping away. And I'll be taking this bucket of figs to my parents since they adore figs. So basically I'm picking a bucket like this at least every day at the moment. They're just coming in hard, all different shapes and sizes and flavors. Just mashallah, it's amazing. Gotta love figs, got to love figs. All right guys, we're here at the chop and block arena, and here's the lineup. Basically they look pretty, don't they? You just want to frame them on the wall. That's how good they look. Seriously, I love the way they look. Okay, so we have the newcomer, Vasilika Sika, the young Greek boy, the underdog, but the potential is very high on this thing. Apparently, we'll see. Then we have the old VDB. You know, it's you can't really knock it, but it just doesn't hold up with the heavies, you know, the big boys. But yeah, definitely a must have, very reliable, doesn't split. Then we have Celeste, question mark, Osborne prolific, you know, unconfirmed, but for now I'll just call it Celeste because my mate, my dear friend, he calls it a Celeste, so I'm going to call it a Celeste for now until we have a 100% positive confirmation that it's Osborne prolific. Then we have the Socorro Black. I like the way it looks. It's a tanned looking fig, very blonde, very goldish in color, unique to other figs. I like that about it. The Socorro Black there. The old White Adriatic, one of the biggest figures that I've got on this board. They get bigger, they get much bigger, so that's probably an average size for a White Adriatic. Then you have the Bourjassotte Noire. Those two heavies out the back hanging out, so you got one little sibling and the older brother there. You can see it's a pretty looking fig, very dark in color, bluish tones, nice and cracked. Looks like it's perfectly ripened. Keep in mind that we had a couple of days of heavy rain here in Sydney, so it'll be interesting to see how it holds up. And then back here we have Calderona, Pond's favorite fig. Again, nice cracks on it. That's a medium size. This is more large. That's up there with Bourjassotte Noire, the size of it. I would say maybe 70 grams or so. It's definitely up there. This could use another day, but they're predicting rain again, so I want to take it off and taste it. All right, let's get into it. let's go straight away before we contaminate our taste buds. Let's go straight for the newcomer. And
wow.
ooh, interesting. Vasilika Sika, hello. Okay, interesting. Look at that. That looks like a watermelon. That's how dark it is. Look at the seeds in there. Interesting. Yeah, wow. Look at the seeds in there. They're very evident. It looks like it's gonna have a nice seed crunch, this thing. Definitely a nice seed crunch. Okay, let's see. Okay, wow. A very pretty colored, vibrant, intense sort of red fig. It literally looks like a ripe strawberry. You know, nothing, you know, obviously you've seen the tree, it's not the healthiest. You can imagine when this thing puts on some size, the tree that is, and a bit of health, I reckon it's going to pump out some very impressive fig size. All right, bismillah, let's go for it.
Try strawberry jam.
It's literally, it's very smooth. It's very smooth. It just melted in the mouth. It's almost no texture. It's almost like a silky sort of a texture to it. It just melts in the mouth. It literally tastes like a jar of strawberry jam.
You can even see it, look.
Yeah, no, it was actually really good, impressive. It's one of the smoothest tasting fig I've had. It just, I was waiting to bite on it. It just melted, disappeared in my mouth. It just melts away. It's very delicious fig, very delicious fig. Took a while to you know, give me some ripe fruits, but it's definitely it was worth the wait. Very delicious. Look at that. Look at that. It's like a sort of a slice of watermelon. Very intense red color on it.
Actually, like
again, it's very smooth. It's literally strawberry jam.
It even looks like
it looks like strawberry jam, and it tastes like strawberry jam. Very interesting. And it's up there. It's definitely up there when it comes to taste. All right, let's go. Let's go Violette de Bordeaux. Okay. You know, this one could cruise another day, but again, the rain had to pick it. Look, what else can you say about Violette de Bordeaux? Super reliable cultivar, doesn't split. Abundance in you know, bearing, you know, bears heavily, does well, intense berry taste. Let's go with some of that. It's got a good seed crunch. Obviously, it could use another day, but again, you can't go wrong with it. Very good.
Can't compare one.
But yeah, so far you can't compare it. The Vasilika, look at the difference. You know, I thought you know, VDB was intense in color. Look at that. Look at the difference. I like that. How you done that? You kept a quarter there. We can compare it. I knew you were gonna do that. Okay, let's go super sweet. Super sweet. Celeste. Question mark or you know, Osmond prolific. But let's just call it Celeste for now, because we've been calling it Celeste for all these years. So, all right, Celeste, amber colored, honey type of fig. In fact, this one is more on the caramel flavored side of the spectrum. The medium to large figs, heavily, super heavy producer, abundant. Does probably the best in our climate out of all the figs that I've got so far. And yeah, let's go for it. Bismillah.
Super sweet.
Those butterscotch lollies. What are Werther's? You know Werther's Original? I don't know if everyone's heard of Werther's Original. That's what it tastes like. No bull, this thing tastes like Werther's Original, like straight caramel. You know, nice. It's a beautiful fig. You know, it's if you're gonna have one sweet fig, like a sort of a sugary sweet fig, that's the one. You know, it does amazing in our climate. You know, super prolific, not many issues and diseases, and tastes super sweet and very nice. So yeah, you can't really go wrong. Let's go Socorro Black. Put them under the knife. Yeah, this could use, yeah. This this thing's very impressive. Like in terms of just the sort of aesthetics of it. Look, I'm still waiting for them to fill up this pool. You know, that fills up with honey. Yeah. Like literally, syrup. This thing here
Okay.
just fills up with syrup. Okay, I'm holding one hand, so it's not focusing, but there you go. Yeah, just that cavity there fills up with syrup. But obviously it needs a bit more time, and the rains are coming again. So, yeah, I love the color of it. It's a very sort of golden color. It's almost got a glow to it, doesn't it? It glows sort of in color. I like it. I don't know why people call it an ugly fig. It's not an ugly fig by far. You know, it's not here. You know, where I'm growing it. It's a nice looking fig, golden color, intense red inside, amazing flavor. Let's see how this one is. This one needs more time. The water got to it. Yeah, the water got to it. The rain looks like it absorbed more water than the others. So it's out of this running for now.
Spongy.
Yeah. So it's out of this sort of competition for now. It's been knocked out for today's fig, that is. But you know, trust me, I've had them before, and they're hard to beat. Very hard to beat when it comes to flavor. Okay. What do you think? Choose.
I like this one.
This one. Good. Okay, so that's her favorite fig. That's my wife's favorite fig in terms of flavor. The old Bourjassotte Noire, Bourjassotte. You know, very hard to beat in flavor, in my opinion. You know, impressive size. The most vigorous tree I've got. You know, so Celeste is the healthiest in terms of you know, compatibility to our climate. But Bourjassotte Noire, in terms of vigor and speed of growth, hands down, it'll drop any other fig when it comes to vigor. It's just so vigorous and so quick growing, and you know, just impressive bearer, just prolific in bearing. Comes in late though, you know, as in ripening, it comes in late. They just started maybe about a week ago here or something. So yeah, it's sort of late summer, the last month of summer for us. That's when they kick in. But it's definitely worth it. It's my wife usually rates it as her favorite tasting fig. So let's go. Open her up.
Oh wow.
Okay, so let's go. Yeah, you can see it's nice colored internal fig, pretty vibrant, to sort of a blackish exterior, blackish blue, sort of blue hues exterior. Sorry about the focus, doesn't want to focus for some reason. There you go. Impressive. It does have a cavity, a small cavity. Yeah, again, it's a top shelf fig by far, one of the best tasting fig. Let's go, bismillah. It's got an acidity, doesn't it?
It does.
Let's go again. I want to get this one. This one's a bit more ripe. So that's the younger sibling.
Wow.
Yeah, this one's.
Look at the difference. It's super ripe.
Yeah, so they're the same sort of. They're both Bourjassotte Noire, but look at the different stages of ripening. This is a bit more darker, more intense. It's more sort of. It's gonna be, yeah, more intense in flavor. You know. Oh yeah. Yeah, now it's turned into a straight jam now. A berry with it's got a bit of a chew on the skin as well, leathery.
Yum.
Yeah, my wife is just intoxicated by the flavor. She loves it. She loves that fig. Okay, let's go.
Good, that one.
That one's more ripe, so this is more bigger, like a bigger size. But the smaller one is, you know, more ripe. So we'll go, and that's the Calderona, by the way.
It looks pretty similar, actually.
It's similar, very similar in sort of interior.
Very similar.
So you got the okay, just leave them here. So yeah, so that's. Let me just sort of. Okay, so that's the Bourjassotte Noire, and that's the Calderona. Interior is very similar. Even the color is almost identical in color. You know, the shapes of the internals and very similar, very similar. Even though it's a different fig, but there are similarities. I find them even in taste. They're similar in taste as well. Similar.
It's really good.
What do you think?
But This one.
Look, it depends on each fig changes as well, like conditions and ripening, and there's a lot of factors. But I find one day it's Bourjassotte Noire, one day it's this one. But consistently, probably Bourjassotte Noire wins so far. It is a more advanced tree. But yeah, very similar to Bourjassotte Noire, very similar. It's got a good seed crunch, very sort of intense berry, jammy.
But this has more better flavor.
This is the more ripe. This is very ripe. Yeah, this is super ripe. So maybe that's why. So, but they're very similar. Okay, the old reliable crowd pleaser, green Adriatic. You know, again, I've always talked this fig up. You know, for good reason. Everyone that has it just keeps coming back for more. Looks pretty. I like the contrast of green to red. Large, like medium to large fruits. It ripens early, keeps going all the way to winter. It holds well against the rain. It's reasonably well in our climate. Very berry. To me, it's the most balanced in flavor. You know, the others can get very rich.
Yeah.
You know, like your Bourjassotte Noire, Calderona, Black Madeira, all that can get very sort of deep and rich in flavor. You know, it's like eating Wagyu. You can't have Wagyu every day. I can have Black Angus every day. No dramas, you know, but I can't have Wagyu. It's just too rich, too heavy. That's what these figs are, like your Bourjassotte Noire, Calderona, all that sort of high-end in terms of flavor figs are. It's, you know, they really, you have one or so and you're done. They're just so intense and rich and deep. This thing, I can eat a bucket, and it's just so well-rounded, so balanced in flavor. It's not the most sweet, but it's sweet enough, very sweet. It's not the like intense berry, but it's got enough berry. Yeah. It's got enough berry. You know, it's not the most honey tones, but it's got enough honey. It's just it hits all the marks for me, and for a lot of people, in fact. You know, just enough berry, just enough honey, just enough seed crunch, large size, comes in early, reliable, doesn't split, you know, much in the rain. Yeah, I can't talk enough about this fig. And this thing's just super ripe. So let's go. Bismillah. You know what the best thing about it? The satisfaction factor.
Yeah.
It's just a big fig. It's like eating a Granny Smith apple, but as a fig, it's just so satisfying. You know, you take a few bites and you're still going. It's just so satisfying. Jammy. It's juicy as well, huh? It's juicy, jammy at the same time. Not juicy in a bad way, in a watery way, in a sort of water, sort of like, no, it's juicy in a jammy, sort of sloppy, like a sloppy, you know, preserved jam, you know, way. Just amazing, just amazing. And yeah, that's the end of the line. So here they are, basically the lineup. Forgot 100% what spot, but yeah. Is that all of them?
No. It's that one too. And this one.
Yeah, so that's the different interiors between all of them. So obviously you can spot that the Vasilika Sika is the most intense, most vibrant in color. So this thing really has potential. You've seen it. It's you know, this thing came off a very sick tree and it produced such quality flavors. Imagine when this thing picks up in vigor. I reckon it's gonna pump out some amazing figs, amazing, like even large, because you know, the bigger it gets the tree, the bigger sort of it can pump a lot more energy into the fruits. So that's got an amazing potential, Vasilika Sika. It seems to be a true Vasilika Sika, because there's a lot of wannabes out there, but this seems to be the real deal. And probably the second, you know, vibrant, probably the White Adriatic, and what's that?
That's
Bourjassotte Noire as well. That's very vibrant as well. And it goes very amber towards obviously Celeste. Look, all top shelf fig, amazing figs. You know, each one has its own sort of merit. I mean, there's a couple that are similar, I would say. Bourjassotte Noire and Calderona. Yeah. You can do without one. You know, like I wouldn't miss one. If I lost one, I wouldn't miss the other. Sort of, if you know what I mean. Apart from the fact of collecting it for the sake of collecting, I reckon you can just choose one. Very similar in look, very similar in flavor, very similar in taste. You know, I would probably go Bourjassotte Noire. It's a lot more vigorous than Calderona, even though the taste is very similar. But the other one, Bourjassotte Noire, is a lot more vigorous, super fast growing. pumps out a lot more, even though the Calderona is very, you know, that's it there, Calderona is very, you know, relatively vigorous and productive, but just not as productive and vigorous as Bourjassotte Noire. So if you had to pick one, it would be the Bourjassotte Noire, not this one, even though this is a top shelf fig by all rights. So yeah, that's the end of today's tasting. I hope you enjoyed this presentation, and if you want to see more you know, fun videos, I suppose, like this, please don't forget to share, like and subscribe.